working this bed. I don't know if you can hear me down there, but it's really thick. You can see through here, it's still a lot of the old wet clay. And then up above here, it's some of the newer stuff. This is obviously in good shape. This soil on top where I've been mixing it in over the years, it is pretty good, but as it gets down, it's really crappy soil. This bed overheats. You can see in behind, there is all kinds of rocks, and in the front, there's all kinds of rocks. So part of what I'm trying to do to alleviate some of these heat problems is to pull back the rocks a little bit and create more space. So they're everything's a little bit further away from the rocks, and it still has enough depth and soil composition that things are still in good shape. So that's what we're doing here. We're going to be pulling all of this into here. I might add some more peat moss. The whole thing needs a really good augmentation. When I was doing a load of peat moss last year, one thing I didn't do in here was to mix it in, because this bed had a bunch of stuff already going, garlic, so I didn't want to mess with it. The garlic did very, very poorly. The only thing that did any growing was an actual ground cherry, 2 ground cherries, which did pretty well. But other than that, this bed didn't do much. There was a couple soft necks that did very well, but other than that, there wasn't enough to really warrant anything. So yeah, what we're going to be doing is pulling these rocks back a little further, and then creating more space for things to grow, and just do some general augmentation, and you're along for the ride. I'm just going to keep this mic here going, and as I work, I'll be talking a little bit and see what we can get. So I've moved these rocks back to a satisfactory level. It's, I got about a foot extra here. I could go further out, but I want to be able to get by. Maybe I will move this just a little bit further out, because I don't have to, I can come out wider here, and then I can really make a wider bed. That would work better. So I'm going to do another round of that while I'm thinking out loud here. This is about a good space. I like that one. Move this one in a little bit. One thing I don't want to do here is put the rocks too far into the bed, so they're interfering with things. As I was pulling these rocks back, there was a lot of rocks that were growing, well underneath areas I thought were just soil. There's a big rock underneath, so it makes a difference. It makes a big difference when you're doing this stuff to make sure the rocks, if you're using rocks, are far enough away and not growing in an area. Because once you add soil, it's easy to lose track of where the dirt is. Move that. Move this one. I'm losing a lot of height here, though. That one. Rock slide! Run for your lives! It's a rock slide! You got a dangerous rock slide situation. It's going on across the nation. Okay, that looks pretty good. I can live with that. That's much more space for things to grow. Need a big rock. Moving rocks is hard work. Okay, into a point here, we can see that there's a huge gap here, and we want to fill this up with stuff. This is very thick. It's like this thick. It all needs to be mixed. So we're going to be adding some peat moss in on here, pulling some back, adding some more peat moss, and then just leveling all this out as best we can. I should dig this up a little bit too. I think I'll do that preventatively. Make sure there's no more rocks. I'll add some peat moss in. Okay, so I have taken up all the solid soil, taken up in the form of actually just using a hoe and then just mixing it up loosely. I'm having some trouble talking, sorry about that. The soil's very deep. I'm not too concerned about adding peat moss, and this whole bed needs some work. It's plenty deep to be able to do what I need. It's too deep, in fact. It's so deep that I can't even mix the bottom parts. So when I dig down, I'm not even getting to the soil that's really crappy underneath. Anyway, we're just gonna pull this all back, add some peat moss in, and then continue along the way. Looks pretty good. I mean, the soil, it needs more loam. If I'm looking at this, I'll grab a chunk here. You can't see it from all the way up there. There is some worms and things in here. It's fairly loose. It's not too bad, but the stuff down below I know is much worse. So I'm just gonna mix in some peat moss and help things out. I need my shovel. So this is sort of like we're through some of our early planting stuff. I mean, just to show you some of the footage from this weekend besides doing this. We planted some onions. We did that yesterday. We did some lettuce and put it in some hoop houses, which was good as well. And we also planted some lettuce and radishes and things here. We have about over half of our garden bed planted, so we're in pretty good shape for the grow season. We've had an early start to it thanks to things like global warming, so there's some beneficial things that happen. Get some rocks in here I gotta get rid of. But it's nice to be this far ahead. We've had years, 2015 being an example, where we had deep snow until May. So it's nice to get a season that you have it start this early. Global warming is going to be a problem. Probably things burning down more than anything else. But there's, in this area of the world, it's not so bad to have warmer weather. So you can probably see some onion remnants left over. Before we started this, there's some nice big worm growth. Before I started this, I went through and pulled out most of the garlic that was here. That's just from previous years. That might have, you miss one or two and then you have another bulb growing. This is what they sort of look like. If you can see that. But they're also pretty small. Like this is a small one. Just so you get an idea. Very small. Smells like garlic. know, this is some of the typical soil. Not bad. Compacted. Way too compacted. But other than that, it's actually pretty good shape. I need some more filler here. Use another dosing of leaf litter as well if I had it, but there's a lot of action for the earthworms though, so it's a good sign. Okay, so we've taken the rocks back from this area, and I've hoed the area that I'm going to be moving the dirt from this area here to the front. The rocks were always a bit of a problem because it would create this area where it'd be superheated for this one in particular. So it's been always a little bit behind. So I want to take some of this dirt off the high parts and move it to the low parts. Create an area where there's more moisture being retained, and then just create a better environment so all that heat isn't reflecting up onto it, because I think that's what's happening right now, especially during the summer season when it gets really hot. It's probably just baking the backside. So I've removed the rocks from the front too. I've removed the rocks. There was one big rock in the front that I've removed, so that will make a big difference as far as like extra heat on the roots where you don't want it. But we're going to move some of this soil down, make it flatter so it retains water better, and then mulch and add some compost and such to keep it in good shape. You know, the garden bed and fixing that up so that it works better, it just makes me want to do that for more of these beds that are sort of questionable, because once you get these beds into a good spot, you don't have to worry so much about the rest of it. It just takes care of itself. But if it's struggling, which is what this one has been doing, especially, both of them really, we're just going to fix it up so that they're in good shape. It's as easy as that. It just takes effort, unfortunately. But anyway, let's get to it. Move this stuff out of here. I don't want to get down too deep near the roots, near the base, because there might be some roots. I haven't seen any yet. We're just going to move this down and create some better spots. Move the high spots to the low spots. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. You know, it's not quite flat here, so it's not going to run off. It should theoretically mostly pool around here, where the soil is much the same as it was. I'm going to take more dirt off the backside now, just so it's more gradual, I think, and then do the same for this one because it's got a low spot where it dips. So I might as well create with all this extra dirt from the high side into the low side over here so that it all looks good, or captures all the water and just stops with that deflection. The back side of this one looks pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it, but this one is good shape. I just got to take more off the back side here because it's still too high.